Hey everyone, what's happening? Let's back today for a very special episode of Behind Brawl Stars, where we're going to be talking to Danny and Felix, who is the 3D animator who does all the animations for the brawlers in Brawl Stars. We're going to take a look at the process of creating all of the animations for your favorite brawlers in Brawl Stars, as well as a never-before-seen animation done by Felix. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss that. Also, some brawlers that may be getting some animation changes soon. We got some good stuff in this episode, so let's get right into it with Danny and Felix. So Danny, Felix, you guys are here. Thanks so much for coming back on the channel. Well, first time for you, Felix. We know Danny, but Felix, why don't you tell us about yourself, man? Where are you from? How'd you get into animation? And what do you do over there at Brawl Stars?
Sure. Well, thanks for having me, man. I'm the 3D animator on the Brawl Stars team, so I take care of all the animation. I joined Supercell in January 2019, straight into the Brawl Stars team, and that was really the only team I wanted to work on. So I'm happy because you never, sometimes you don't get to choose which team you join. I'm from France and studied 3D art, cinema and animation over there in some art school.
So you wanted to join the Brawl Stars team just because Danny was there, right?
That's in fact, I wasn't.
Oh,
you weren't yet.
Yeah, because I joined after Felix.
Maybe 1 week after.
So it was the other way around. Danny wanted to join because of Felix. Okay, makes sense now. You're doing all of the animation on all the Brawl Stars stuff. So what exactly does that encompass? Is it like just the Brawler animations? Because I know people were thinking, hey, does he do like those cool animations, like the Piper's Homemade Recipe stuff? Or what exactly is it that you do?
I animate every brawler. I do all the in-game animations, the win animations, all the attack animations, but I don't do the marketing animation. The team only takes care of what's in the game, and then these are different teams for all the marketing and cool animations that you see on YouTube.
Awesome. So you're responsible for the actual, like the brawlers, firing animations, their movements, their lobby poses, and more importantly, Piper's mouth. What is she doing with her mouth, man?
The face animations are made by Woo Hyun. He's a different artist, so he takes care of all the VFX for the brawlers. So he's the one that actually makes all the face animations on top of my own animations.
Gotcha. So you didn't make her yodel. Okay, gotcha.
No, you can't blame me for this one.
So then you do more of like the actual walking and like the shots firing and that sort of stuff, correct?
Yeah, that's it. And for all the skin animations, right now I work with some external partner. There's too much animations, there's too much content in this game. And I'm the only animator in the team, so I can only do so much. So I focus on the brawlers, the new brawlers, and everything that is skin animation. I work with a small little external team.
So probably the most asked question, because I threw out a lot of questions to the community, and they had a bunch, but probably the very single most asked question was, how long does it take from start to finish to do the animations for a brawler?
It takes me about 2 weeks for one brawler, and that is all the animations, everything that you see, the final product. And because it's not just animating, I'm also implementing and testing the animation in the game. So animating, I would say it's about half of my time, and the other half is testing in the game.
If it takes about 2 weeks, that means you're already working on the next new brawler. What do you think about that, man?
Yeah, actually currently finishing it.
Oh. Okay.
Whoa.
Whoa. Confirmed. There we go.
That's what I'm going to say.
See, I was just fishing, but thanks, man. I appreciate that. Awesome. Follow up somewhat on this question. One is one by Francie Artist, which if you don't know him, the guy does really great animation stuff. He wanted to know, like, when it's talking about like the walking and the cycle, like the lobby movement looping, is that like one of the harder parts, or what's one of the hardest parts to do with all the 3D animations?
First, shout out to my boy Francie. The trickiest part is really just nailing the personality. I think all the technical stuff, it takes time. If you don't put the right personality in it, then you're just going in circles. You're not really adding anything. So
yeah, because
that's where you work.
Yeah, because you're really bringing these brawlers to life. And speaking of their personality, Emilio had a question. He said, is there any animation that you personally want to bring to life more, and or what was your favorite animation up until now?
My favorite animation, Max and M's, I think are really my favorite.
How about you, Danny? Which one's your favorite?
I think everything about Piper, but no. Seriously. I really like, what's the name of the Paladin? Mecha Paladin Church. Or what's the name of this king, actually?
Mecha Paladin Surge, yeah.
Or Paladin Knight, I don't know. Yeah, and I think like Surge, the fall animations is also cool because it's something you don't expect for a combat robot.
Which now, this is just off the top of my head, makes me think, I've never... What's happening with Underworld Bo when he loses? I mean, not that I've ever seen it personally. I just saw other people, it happened to them when they lost. But
right.
Like,
Same.
Yeah. What is he like, shrinking into the underworld, or what's going on there?
That's a very good question. Who knows?
When I saw that, I actually wrote in the art chat, like, so what's happening here? Because the community will ask. And then nobody answered me. So then, okay.
Which was probably the toughest animation for you to do of all the brawlers?
One that took me a lot of time was Colette. Just really wanted to get it right. And that one was pretty tricky because all the straps that she's, there's like dangly bits everywhere on this character. There's the hair, the book, all of that was pretty complicated.
WWE Eric says, do you wait until like a brawler's idea is fully developed and they hand it to you and then you animate it, or does it happen in reverse sometimes? Like you have an idea for an animation and it, goes into effect on a brawler that they're coming up with?
I get the brawler model pretty late in the process, so it all starts with concepts from Paul, and so he's the one that really nails what the character is about, the design, the personality. He comes up with all that stuff. Of course, there's also the gameplay design will affect what I will do with the character. I'm taking like all the inspiration from Paul's design, his own ideas from what the character is. I don't feel like I decide, I just feel like the character decides who he wants to be.
So you were talking about skins and some of the animations for those skins. Who decides and how is it decided, like whenever like a custom skin gets animations? Because I've seen some, get them right away. Sometimes they, get them after the fact. How is that decided, and, which ones is going to be next?
I guess we kind of look at the skins and we try to figure out first, does that skin need animations? Because some skins just require new animations because we've changed, we've changed the guns, or we've changed like a whole part of the character. So it's like, okay, we need to reanimate part of the character. So we're going to get custom animations for that skin. But we also just, try to figure out which tier Brawls will be. And depending on the tier, higher tier, for sure, we're going to do custom animes. Lower tier, we just try to do the minimum.
Yeah, I always love it whenever, a skin that's been out and then you guys go back and add some extra stuff. It's like, cool, I just got extra value for this skin that I already have.
Yeah, that's because sometimes I play with the skin and I'm like, oh, damn, I would really want to do animation on this skin. And I just add it.
So which one are you currently playing with that you're like, yo, you need to add some extra stuff to?
I've been looking at Mortis. I've been looking at just the base skin of Mortis, and I'm like, yeah, this one could definitely get some new animations.
You weren't the one who originally decided to take his hat away, are you?
No, don't blame me. I wasn't even there.
So over on Twitter, someone asked if you have any plans to animate the pin packs further than what they already are right now, because it's kind of like you press on it and bloop, they open up, and there's not a lot of like build up or excitement to it.
That would be super cool. Just didn't have time to do this. I think there's a lot of like cool animations that we want to add to the UI. Opening the Brawl boxes, I think we could make cooler ones. So we've been looking at that, but it's a bit of a question of priority.
So I know that, we've talked about pin packs not being animated whenever you open them, but what about actual animated pins as you're using them? Any plans for something like that? Or that would be pretty cool, I think.
Danny, what can we say on that?
I can say what our heart wants. And I can say the reality, because of course I would love to animate those, and we are doing some studies to see if it's possible or not. But imagine that our small team animating every single pin. That's a big load of work. So it's something that we are studying if it's possible or not.
Felix, do you also animate the things that are like environmental issues, like say the minecarts in Minecart Madness?
No, everything environment is being animated by our environment artist Yuha.
Does Spike not have an animation in the game?
like a custom animation, because all Spike skins have the same animation, same win in those animations.
Looks like I just found some work for you.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no reason. I promise I will add a Spike custom win animation for Spike soon.
Why is it that Jessie in all of these animations is always the one being abused?
Probably bad karma. I don't know what Jessie did, but maybe she deserves it. Who knows?
What kind of programs do you use to do the animation with, Felix?
So my hands, I use Autodesk Maya. So I saw a lot of people thinking I use Blender. Sorry, I'm not a Blender guy. And I'm looking at you, Ricardo, because I know you're going to be looking at this video, and I use Maya.
So I have a set of rapid fire questions for you. All right. So both of you both have to answer, and you only can say like one or two words. You guys ready? Favorite brawler?
Piper.
El Primo for me.
How many total trophies? Your highest?
I think it's 23K.
11K.
Favorite type of pizza?
Ooh, margarita.
Pepperoni.
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
B or Piper?
Piper.
Piper.
Favorite type of music?
Heavy metal.
The best cosplay done in a Brawl Talk was done by
Danny.
Oh, conceded much?
I think Rosa. Rosa was the best.
The best code to use is code Lex. Is that true or is that correct?
True.
Sure.
See? There. You guys chose wisely there. The name of the next brawler is?
I don't know.
Okay. I had to try. Come on, I had to try.
Do you have $1 million, Lex? Because I could tell you.
Sadly, I am not even remotely that rich.
Well, my whole office was in holiday, so I had nothing to do, and I made this stupid animation with Tick. I was redoing the crab dance. You know that video, crab dance?
Yeah.
I made crab dance with Tick, and it took me like 4 or 5 days of like nonstop working on this. Yeah, we never released it because we didn't have the rights for the music video and stuff.
Just because we're special over here on Lex's channel. I'm not talking about special like my mom used to call me. Because we're special. Here you guys go. First ever look at the crab dance as animated by Felix. Animations, is it just like you just draw one kind of thing and just then change that one thing, or is it probably a lot more complicated than we realize?
There's many moving parts, I think, in the process of animation. I can break it down a little bit, just so I think people understand better what it takes. First, we get the Brawler concepts. That's from Paul, so nice drawing, and then we have 3D artists that make that drawing into 3D. They do the texture, they make it nice and clean. That's how you see it in the game, but it's not moving. So after the model is done, we have to put a rig, or we have to rig it, which means put a skeleton underneath that is going to be driving the motion. So I do those. Once they're made, then I can actually grab every control for the arm, the leg, the torso, the head, and I just animate it. The whole animation process is a bit tricky to kind of explain. I could show you like some images or some videos so that it's a bit easier to understand. But visually, I think that's the best way to kind of describe it. When we get like a new brawler in the game, and we sometimes just for testing purposes, we apply some other brawler animation to it. Mm-hmm. We get some also pretty scary results. Like, for example, Spike's animations on Shelly or something like this. And so then you have Shelly with Spike's proportions.
I've seen that, like, was it Tick? Whenever he was in the dev build, before he was actually Tick, he was like throwing spike grenades into the air or something like that. Yeah. I remember Frank was actually Primo in game. That was a long time ago though, and he was just like slamming his fist down. It was good times.
I think you can actually still watch on Brawl Talk, but Mr. P, he was using spike animations. So if you see him walking, he's just like
well, that was spiky. Also with Mr. P on that Brawl Talk. He put down his his porter's house, and a little miniature Bruce came out.
Oh yeah.
That one was great. So whenever I see those, it's just, waiting for Felix to still do his job, yet it's still in process.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you see the Brawl Talk, I'm usually watching the Brawl Talk as I'm still working on the animations. And I'm like, oh no, we're going to have no idea of what I'm doing.
What was the first animation that you ever did, Felix? You know, your first animation.
Oh, there's a good story around that. Before I joined Supercell, as I got like my interview process and everything, the team asked me to do a animation test. So this was before Global. It was in November, December. So I was doing this test on Dynamite. I had to animate Dynamite, the run animation, and as well as the win animation. So I did those, and I guess they were good because they got me in the team. But what's cool too is that they also got in the game. So before I even joined, they decided to put these animations in the game. So that was really cool that I got some animations done before Global too. So Dynamite animation that you see right now was mine, even though I wasn't in the team yet.
They were taking your work before you ever made it. Well, it was good though, because you must have figured, okay, they liked it enough to put it in the game. I got this job, man. I got this one.
Yeah, it was scary because they asked me to renounce all the commercial rights on it so that they could put it in the game legally.
Sure.
So I had to sign this thing saying like, okay, I'm not going to get paid for this, you know.
It's a big move going from France to Finland.
Actually, what I did is I moved from Scotland to Finland.
You and Paul both come from Scotland, huh?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Well, the joke was that I got hired so that I could translate what Paul said.
Oh, man. What were some of the other type of animations that you did before joining Brawl Stars?
Oh, okay. So yeah, before joining Brawl, I was doing, I did a few different stuff. Like just before joining Brawl Stars, I was working as a freelancer. So I worked with a few different companies. I worked with Rovio on some game that got canceled. And before that, I used to work at a studio called Axis Animation, and they do trailer for video games. I worked on some trailer for the Elder Scrolls, Heroes of the Storm. That was like Blizzard. A bunch of stuff that I can't talk about too,
Sure.
that are still under NDA.
Yeah.
But I was doing more, let's say, narrative animation, more like film stuff than actually video game. So it was a really different experience, but pretty cool.
Yeah, well, that's cool that now, though, you know, the animations that you're doing aren't just like, hey, here's a trailer, cool, and then everybody forgets about it a week later. Now the stuff that you're doing is perpetual and, you know, gets, you know, constant enjoyment, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, and so when I animate a Brawler, it's just people see the Brawler all the time.
Yeah.
Again and again and again. So, and me awesome. Too. So that's the thing is like, I see all my mistakes. Sometimes it can be really painful to actually play the game just because I see everything that is not right. Even though sometimes I change a little bit, I change a few things. There's this different, it's a weird thing to play the game you make.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're always your own worst critic as well. So, I mean, you're probably seeing things that, you know, 99.9% of the people would never even notice, you know. So an inside source told me something, Felix. An inside source that may or may not be smiling right now with a beard.
Have you done any?
Said that told me that you perhaps might be a little bit involved with some of the Brawler lore. I hear you like that sort of thing.
Am I?
You do care a lot about it.
Do I?
Does Poco know that Ems is really into him?
Probably not. Like the way I see it, Ems is like a fan of Poco as a musician, and as I imagine a rock star like Poco must have like so many fans. It's hard to know which one is.
Since you were talking about you liked lore, I'm curious, Felix, what exactly do you think was happening in that investor video? Or maybe was it you behind it, or?
Yeah, good question. I'm not the one behind it. I've been as surprised as everyone to see what I saw. And some images, I'm still not over it. The moving cactus was pretty terrifying to me. And that bear, man, that bear.
All right, so that's going to wrap it up. Danny, Felix, thanks you guys so much for coming on the channel, sharing some insight on what you guys do over there in Brawl Stars. You guys have any final words, anything to say?
Well, man, it was my pleasure, and yeah, thanks for having us. It was really cool.
Likewise, thank you for having us and lending your channel for us to share the word of Brawl.
Absolutely, yeah. And if you guys want to even see more in-depth stuff on the animations that Felix does, a lot more technical stuff, there'll be a link in the description, a link to one of the videos that he was in. Really interesting stuff there as well. But that's going to wrap it up. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, until next time, we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace out.